So, this happened. It's a good day for a cookie, though. So, got a little snow around the truck, but as luck would have it, got some nice warm sunshine today. And right where I need to work, there's no snow. Other than this crap I gotta walk there to get to it. But we'll get set up, pull the carpet and the seat out of this side. Probably eat more cookies. So I'll bring it back in a minute.
Suck at it, but I love it.
All right, I have to make my apologies for the sun. It's not going to be helping me much today. I'll admit I could be opening up a can of worms here. Don't know. First mission is going to be to get this seat out of here. And I'm not sure if those nuts right there are captive nuts. I assume they are because I can't see any way to get under there. If that doesn't work, I can take those bolts out there that go under the bottom of the seat. Two reasons I got to get the seat out is A, so I can clean around it and figure out what I would want to do with the interior. Second off, I don't know why, but this carpet goes way down in there. It's probably a foot deep and all the way to the back of this panel. And down back there, this is right under the seat. There's a the blower motor. And that door open down there is the rear hatch. And all the way at the very back of this, that's the back of the cab. It's all under the sleeper. So the carpet's tore out right to basically where that sun cutoff is. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm hoping there's no screws holding it down there, but the top comes off this AC box here. AC and heater stuff's in there, condenser. I don't know exactly what I'm getting myself into, so I'm just gonna go ahead and get into it. Well, I tell y'all what a smart feller would do here is smart feller would go buy himself a small toolbox that had enough room to put a basic collection of small hand tools in it. Because I've made at least, near as I can count, 12,684 trips in and out of this truck to go in the shop to get new tools, or to get that socket I forgot. Man ought to know better than that by now, but okay, I'm hoping these are captive nuts. That one was. Get this seat out of the way, they give me a lot of space. I got nothing against walking, but it's probably, if I go through the little door, it's probably about 60, 70 yards from here to my toolbox. And as any of you mechanics know, you're always going to forget the one tool you needed the most. Maybe I can buy a tool bag like I used to have when I was doing electric work. I don't know, that might be too much organization. I need to talk to my buddy, my interior guy, and see what it would cost to get the seat reupholstered and the other one. Typically, it's somewhere between $200 and $400 to get seat covers done. And by seat covers, I mean actual take this off, fix the foam, put new on type of covers. Now might be the ideal time to do it. This thing needs the side frames blasted. Same with the other seat. Well, that was easy, I think. Okay. All right, if I fall, don't laugh. I didn't notice till just now, but that seat's missing a bracket. No wonder it's so bumpy. Bet I'll find it in this truck somewhere. Okay, well, guess we'll do an exploratory search of what's down there. Don't really want to know. Now I lost my seat. Let's see. Get my trash bag here, otherwise known as a Lowe's bag. An envelope to Jake. No money in it. This is from Woody's Express in Marionville, Missouri, 2016. The driver was something rather Hendricks or Hendren. The company was Coke. Truck number 7. Might save that. Okay. Highway patrol sticker. I doubt this truck could go fast enough to worry about getting pulled over. A Walmart receipt from Neosho, Missouri, 2020. Okay, well, looks like that's about it. Looks like somebody's pulled this box out of here before. Somebody's had this box out. You can see all those wires have been cut and spliced. I don't know what for. You could have got the connector through that hole, but there's another electric motor. Got one back down there. I don't know why it's got 2. Some stuff that's disconnected. Some really awesome wiring. What I'm hoping is that carpet down there doesn't have screws in it. If it does, I'm gonna have to pull this whole box out. Might end up doing that anyways, and that's gonna be opening up a huge can of worms, but whatever, I like worms. Trying real hard not to swan dive out of this truck. I've only got about a 2.5-inch step to stand on, and then the other foot's on the ladder. It's a little sketchy. Well, somebody stuck a number 3 Phillips in the end of my drill. Guess I'll screwdriver this one out. This is funny because they've got grounds right underneath this screw for the blower motor and stuff, and it's pinned down on top of carpet. Like, that's ineffective right there. That is not going to work well. We got a high amp load wire with very poor ground. That's not going to work. Or not going to work well. Okay, so I'm going to move my junk and probably ultimately just rip this carpet out of there. Even if there's a screw there, I'm not going to try to get it out at this point. I can't even see down there. I'll just rip this thing out. Then my battle will be over as far as getting carpet out. I'm also probably going to die from whatever's in this carpet, so it's going to be fun. I should definitely stand on the tire. Those wet, snowy feet, that's going to work out great. All right. Okay. kind of wanting to use this carpet for a pattern, but sorry about that, it doesn't seem to want to come out in one piece. Oh, I'm just knocking everything over. Okay. I'm rather precariously perched here. Probably gonna knock you guys down. Don't even want to know what I'm breathing in at this point. Although one of you guys said that it's probably not asbestos, so that's good. Let me try to get over here. Alright. This carpet's got some kind of a weird rubber matting on the back of it. Oh good, it came out. And I'm about to knock you over again. Whew! Well, that's a win for Team Us. Okay, I think I'm gonna take this cover off, more because I'm curious than out of necessity. I want to see what's under it. I know what's under it, but I want to see what's under it. And then I can clean it off and use it for a seat. What's happened here is these butt connectors I was looking, this connector is broken or failed. And they just cut the wires on both ends and just spliced it together with jumpers. So we'll be fixing that. The reason that's done that, they got connectors there so you can pull the unit out, whatever's in there, and pull it out and service it. Now you can't without redoing them splices, but that's just typical for old vehicles. Electrical systems are usually pretty sketched out. Got all the bolts out. Well, first thing of note, also not surprising, it has no AC condenser. That should be right here. My first observation. It does have a heater core in it. Has a ton of insulation down in there. This sucker has 3 fan motors. That's stupid. Huh, that's weird. So this is the central heat and air unit. We got a blower motor there on the outside. Got one there. And we got one down there. Some relays. Like I said, totally missing AC condenser. It's supposed to be right there. So the air is probably not going to work very good. That coupled with the fact that we have no air compressor. But like I said in an earlier video, I'm probably going to try and retrofit components from a modern hot rod style air conditioning system. I've already got brackets for the sand and air compressor, so I'll probably just look at putting that in there. There's probably not much of this factory system that's going to be usable other than ducts, like the hard plastic ducts. I mean, that's what most all the flexible ducts look like. Everything's just pretty tattered, and from what I've heard, the heat and air systems in these suck anyways. It's got this heater core here, but it pulls air in either from outside or through these little flapper vents, and heater core is all banged up too, but through these ducts they blow air all the way through here, up all the way across. And apparently your feet freeze off. It's a long ways for the air to go. So I'm debating on setting it up with a second heater core somewhere up here in the dash, maybe under the truck, I don't know, probably in the interior somewhere, a small compact unit like from a modern vehicle, you know. So there essentially we'll have 2 heaters, have the main one here as long as it don't leak, and then a second one, because I do plan on driving this truck a lot. But I kind of want to take this box out, but I'm going to see what's required to do that, because I would really like to get down in there and clean all that garbage out, be able to get in here and wash all this stuff out. I know it's got a couple of bolts here, but I really want to pull this box out and paint it and allow me to get in here, you know, properly insulate this. I'm going to get rid of that foamy stuff, or whatever the heck you call that. Obviously made out of recycled materials. There's about 600 different colors of string in there, but I'll probably be using that adhesive backed stuff. It works really well, and it helps for vibration. And this truck is god awful with the vibration, so we'll go ahead and figure out what it's going to take to get this out and get it cleaned and properly restored and get all the junk out of there. So based on the obvious complexity of this box, probably just save this one for another video. It's gonna need to come out no matter what, because I got to get under there and clean. I think there's a pretty big, well, it's not a big void, but there's space under it. Even if I reuse this heater core, there's old hoses there, little short sections that need to be done. There's a hot water shutoff valve there that has this really cool just piece of electrical wire or something, just locking it in the open position. This little black cable you see goes down there and opens that flapper door. Then there's another one here that opens that one. All those cables, with time, they get stiff. They need lubricated or replaced. So what I'm thinking is, like I already said, I can go with a hot rod style aftermarket AC system and probably just totally rearrange how all this is set up. I mean, having 3 blower motors, heater core that's if you go by the way of air ducts, about 10 feet from your feet, the blower ducts. I mean, I can use the same box and basically just rearrange most of the stuff in here, the blend doors, do what I need to do, and get a good, efficient, modern air conditioning system in this truck. I'd spend thousands probably trying to get this set up, put back to 100% stock, so I can modify it, you know, keep the original look from the outside, keep a lot of the ducting, you know, obviously clean it up, but I think that would be the best option. But getting the box out is going to be the first step. I can, at a minimum, clean everything out. I might be able to rig it up where the heater setup will still work for now. See if those blower motors work. Nothing happens when you cycle any of the controls at this point, but I can go ahead and get all that kind of sorted out while the box is out of there. I can test all the motors and see how I want to proceed. But for the rest of today's video, we'll go ahead and rip out the rest of that foam, get it all out of here. Well, it's not foam, fabric mat, whatever the heck you call it, and get it to where I can clean it. My ultimate objective is getting all the soft trim pulled out of here, all the carpet. I want to get up in here and power wash everything out. There's just so much crud in here. It's just nasty. Normally I would never do power wash the inside of a car, but as long as I try not to directly blast the electrical components, it should be okay. And the electrical components should be okay with a little bit of water on them anyways. Not that worried, but that's my ultimate goal. But I got to get all the fabric and the crap out, so all this air ducts, get everything pulled out so I can do a real good wash. I get that done, I can go ahead and pull the rest of the interior panels, and there's very little of this interior other than the doors that is exposed, so I could paint the insides of the doors and what few areas of exposed metal we have, and then basically put this interior back together, have everything cleaned up, and the interior will basically be done with the exception of, you know, replacing busted covers and you know, all the soft trim, but at least something will be on its way to being done. In other news, I've also got my fuel tank brackets at the sandblaster as well as the grill, so it's going to be all right. I'm just going to chunk this stuff right out the window. It's nice and snowy out there, so I can see it all pick it back up. What stays on here, I can get in here with a wire brush, pull it right out. I was able to get the carpet out, as you saw, pretty much in one piece. So that's good because it allows my interior guy, or myself, whoever does it, to lay the carpet out and pretty much get an exact template, if you will, of what it's supposed to look like. That way you know that the outer perimeter is the same size as the old one. If you tear your carpet out of something like this, or a boat, or something that's got a lot of compound curves, stuff like that, it takes forever to get your carpet or your vinyl or whatever it is trimmed to fit. So some of this insulation is stuck real bad, but most of it's coming right up. Some bees if anybody wants that. All right. In other news, Joey Nemetz, guy with the YouTube channel, he had pulled this complete rear suspension setup off of 4070 and been trying to sell it. And, anyways, I asked if he'd sell me a few pieces off of it, and he generously decided to do that. And now I have parts that I was having a real hard time getting. This is the center hanger for the rear axles. You have one axle here, one axle there. The leaf springs, you know, attach up in here. This centerpiece pivots. Mine, at some point in time, this pin either sheared off or fell out, and basically this part had just worn completely through. This top thing just exploded the whole top of it out. Show you a picture of what that looks like. But anyways, so this piece is in great shape. It weighs probably 50 pounds, maybe more than that. Fun part here is going to be trying to get this pin out. It's probably seized to both of these pieces of metal, and then trying to get the big pin out, which is about 8 inches long, goes right through those pieces. So I don't know how I'm going to do that yet, but I'm going to be real careful because I don't want to tear this casting up. These are hard to find. There's a lot of these castings out there, but they're usually mounted to trucks, and once you take one of these off, like a parts truck, it's hard to move around. So Joey Nemetz was my hero here. He sent me a spare as well. I'm not going to use this piece. The replacement cross member brackets on my truck, both of these on one of the cross members have been split and re-welded. You know, both of them are destroyed. So again, he hooked me up with these in good shape. Have to get one bolt knocked out, but I really appreciate it. Trucking community so far, which I'm new to, has been really generous. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to figure out how to get this off, kind of off camera, because this could be hours of piddling, which is totally fine. I'm just thrilled to death to get it. So thanks, Joey. I decided to just kind of let you come along with some of the highlights of what I'm going to attempt to do here. We've got two problems. First, this severely corroded center pin, it basically locks this together. I don't know if this is wedge shaped. I assume it's just a real tight press fit. Otherwise it would just fall right out. Or I don't know if originally it had some kind of a head on it. It's been in this for decades in a cold climate. So first thing we're up against is the pin. So I don't care if this inner pin, the big one, or the little pin obviously gets destroyed. That pin has a, see that line in it? I don't know if that's from it being just something caught on it when it was pressed in or what. So getting that pin out, my first thought, you see where it's, somebody has done a fair amount of hammering on this a long time ago. Fortunately, it didn't damage the casting. Casting appears to be in great shape. My thoughts are, this is mushroomed out on this end. It's recessed in there. My thoughts are first to try to drill through here, you know, basically get to about this inner point and potentially step my drill bits up in sizes until I can basically get that pin to collapse on itself. What I might be able to do is drill it up a few sizes, then get a punch through the hole I drilled, and then maybe I would only be fighting what was left hanging on here. Basically this will have collapsed on itself at that point. Alternatively, I can get a hole saw, you know, without the bit in it, that's this diameter, chop through this pin. Then all I would have to deal with is this little chunk here, this little chunk here. And I drilled a little pilot hole just to test my theory. The metal appears to be pretty soft, which makes sense, it's all mushroomed out. So that's what we're gonna do. I'll just bring you along for the highlights. I have no idea if this is gonna work. Once I get the pin knocked out, I'm hoping that I can get this big pin loosened up. This piece here is not seized up, it'll move. But my concern is this pin is seized at the casting. But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. First off, we're gonna try to get this pin out. This metal appears to be pretty soft. And I've punched in it quite a ways and not really used much force. Pin on my other truck, or my truck, I only got one. It is from a little bit more south climate, you know, it's not, doesn't appear to be seized up. I'm hoping once this pin comes out that I can just knock this out, but I don't foresee as much of a problem on mine, especially since mine had a failure. I know my pin has been out before, so once I get this out of the way, I'll get it off to the sandblaster. Okay, I've already got through the thickness of the casting, and I'm about probably 10% of the way through this thickness. I just want to punch it out till I'm about that deep. Right about there. Get it in the hole. Some of you old timers might be watching me fight this and think it's pretty funny, but I'm just learning. All right, so I got it punched out with this bit, about that deep, enough to get to probably here. So chucked up this next bit, a lot bigger, 5/16. I think once I get about halfway in there, I can get one of my small punches and drive it that way, see if it comes loose. Need to go get some safety glasses. metal's real soft. All right, that was easy. Punched it out. Again, about the same. I'm gonna step it up to a bigger bit. It's a 3/8. All right. Nope. 25/64. What I don't want to do is go any larger than the diameter of that pin. So I'm gonna make sure I stay under that because I don't want to tear this casting up, like I already said. That would be heartbreaking. Joey sent me another one, but the other one has just a tiny bit of metal took out of one of these, so it's still much better than the other one, but this one is perfect. So I'm gonna try with this size. This metal is real soft. All right, again, same story. I've got this metal thickness down to maybe a 1/16 of an inch thick all the way around there. So my theory on this pin, being that metal is so thin, I think this is similar to like a rivet style attachment. I think that's a soft metal and it's just designed to hammer together and expand. I suspect that's what that is. In essence, a huge rivet. I don't know that. Could just be something that's supposed to have a nut on both sides. I'm just winging it. Now, what I'm probably going to try to do is see if I can get it to move that away. My theory there is that this sidewall is thin enough that it might collapse on itself a little bit, punching that thing out. If I'm being honest, I don't expect much success with this. I think I'm going to end up cutting it out, but you can go along for the ride. If this is, like I was thinking, a smash type deal, then beating on this all day will make no difference. As expected, that makes no difference. I think what I'm going to try to do is just get some screwdrivers and peck at that and see if I can get it to collapse. If it doesn't move or deform at all, then I'll just get a bigger bit, just very gradually step it up till I get real close to the outer diameter of the hole. That's going to be pretty boring work, kind of chipping at it, so I'll bring you back, figure out if that works or not. So I changed my mind to how I want to do that. I'm confident that would work, but even then, if I was to be able to collapse that, I'm still fighting what's going on over here. So I have a pretty extensive hole saw collection from when I was an electrician. I found a hole saw that pretty much perfectly fits this inner diameter. So I'm gonna run that down there. That should chop this whole center section of this pin out. Hopefully that'll go easy. This thing shouldn't bind up in there, but it might. It's a brand new, well, not brand new hole saw, but I think once I get that center section out, it'll be a lot easier. I can't really get at this angle good with a drill, like here, because this is in the way, but I can, with this out of the way, go straight through with a long drill bit and be able to drill out, basically do the exact same thing. At that point, pin's out of the way. So called an audible on my own game plan here. But we'll see if that works. I think it will. I bet this ain't the way they call to do it in the manual, which I don't have. But that's the way I'm doing it. This might get crazy on me. I might have to clamp this down, or it might just saw right through it easy. We'll find out. Oh yeah, it's already almost cut all the way through it. That's nuts. Yeah, that's definitely a compressed type bolt. Might ought to clamp it or spin around, hit me in the nuts. That'll be fun. Heck, look at that. That was easy. Sweet. Let me zoom you in a little. Okay. Now that that pin is out of the way, see where I've drilled through, I should be able to step that up another size or two and knock that thing right out. Okay, let's have a, let's go ahead and drop that on the floor. Let's have a real quick discussion on video quality. Like you already know, I live out here in the middle of nowhere and have very poor cell reception. I've been trying to record in 4K, which is great for video quality, obviously. But it's causing me major problems for my upload times and the amount of storage. I'm doing all of this stuff off of my iPhone. And prior to me starting my YouTube channel, I used my phone for nothing really. But I only have a 64 gig phone, and recording at 4K, you fill that sucker up fast. I don't feel like spending a ton of money on a more storage capacity. So until I can either get a good internet plan with good internet speeds, or can afford a better phone with more storage, I'm going with what is it, 1080p, 60 frames per second. That's literally a little less than half the storage space than 4K. So I want to give you guys the best quality I can, but it's just causing me major problems with storage space. So that's what I got to do right now. I'm gonna just, while we're at this size bit, I'm gonna see if I can go ahead and punch out the other side. Kind of use this as a guide. That don't appear to have much of a cutting point on it anymore. Try another size. All right, try this one. Can't hardly see what the original diameter was. I think that's close. Anyways, I'm gonna basically step this up in size. All right, so that worked pretty well. I've got basically, other than the very ends, you can see kind of the outline of where it is. The pin is gone. Punched out both sides. So what I'm gonna do now is just get in there and see if I can peck away at that what's left, basically a sleeve, what used to be the pin. See if I can get it to collapse. I may try one of my extractor sets. I'll piddle with that and bring you back when I figure out what'll work. Well, that worked real good. I just got my pointed punch and just one whack, and I knocked out part of it. So I'll just let you come along. I'll not try to knock out the rest of it. Flip it around, do the other side. Then the pin part of this equation will at least be solved. Yeah, see how easy that comes apart? This could very well be the way that it's designed to come apart anyways. See, that's the last of this part of it. Spin it around, hit the other side. This has worked quite well. Let's see. The other side is recessed in there, so I'm not going to be able to do it from the outside. I'll have to kind of peck at it from this side. This side's not coming out in as big of chunks. It is collapsing on itself though. You can't see it, but it's coming out slowly. I just knocked my lighting floor there. Get that out of the way. This pin smells terrible. That's almost out. You get the idea. Well, for some reason or other, this side's putting up a fight. What I did is I stepped it up one more size, and I'm pecking at it this side with a chisel. I think it's moving. Let's see, where's my other chisel? Problem is here you can't get a straight shot at it with a drill. It's kind of, so I can't drill from this end. Everything has to come from that side. But I think it's coming. You watch restoration shows on the old television, and they tend to glamorize this kind of work a lot. And the truth is, you spend hours doing stuff like this, which is definitely not glamorous. Good entertainment to watch, I suppose. It's out. Ugh. Look at all that shavings. That was the other one. I managed to chip part of it out, and not sure what kind of pin that is. It's a solid shaft. Okay, so that's out of the way. Now I'm gonna rig up some blocks, put this on the floor, and see if we get this big pin to move. I'll bring you back when I find that out. Well, it's no surprise at all to me, based on fiddling with rusty hardware for years. This pin isn't having it. It's concerned that it wouldn't, but not a big deal. It's just, it'll just be some slow, painstaking work to get it out. Make sure I preserve my casting here. So, you experts out there that have all the fancy machines, probably gonna laugh me out of the room, but my plan is this. Trying to get this pin to move, I'm fighting three things. I'm fighting whatever is attached in here, some kind of a bushing, I would assume, that it's probably stuck to. Will rotate, but not smoothly. I'm fighting this side where it's rusted in, which is about 1 inch thick. And then on the back side, I'm facing about 3/4 of an inch of the pin stuck to the casting. So I'm fighting three different things. My thoughts, I bought a brand new pack of these last week, basically because I figured I'd be doing this. I'm gonna hang this Sawzall blade in there, and I'm gonna saw right through that pin. Then I'm gonna come over here. I got just enough room to get that blade in there, and I'm gonna saw through the pin on this side. That'll allow this to come out, and that'll basically allow me to deal with this stuck part and this stuck part independently. So I'm only fighting this 1 inch of material and this 3/4 inch of material. If I still can't get it to move, I can take these same Sawzall blades right here, where these big old holes are already there. I can get in there and just saw through. I only got about 1/8 of material here, and probably about that, maybe 1/4 inch on the other side of that hole. And I can chop right through there, maybe get some relief on the pin, get it to collapse a little. If not, I'll cut it on the top side here and get it to kind of, it'll be 2 halves and then it'll come out. I got a cheapo depot press, but trying to manipulate this 50-pound casting in there, get everything set up, drive the thing out. I mean, monkeys and a football come to mind. So I'm gonna do it the careful way, just kind of chop at it. Time is money, but it's a Saturday, so my concern is doing it safely and not causing any more damage. The pin I don't care about. I could get a new pin made if one of my truck's in bad shape, but that's how I'm gonna do it. This is gonna be obnoxious to listen to, so I'm gonna go ahead and chop that, bring you back. This is probably hardened steel, and it is probably gonna burn through Sawzall blades like crazy, so that could be fun. I'll bring you back. All right, well, I got the blade in there. This metal, it seems to be cutting fairly smoothly, so I'll just let you watch. Don't want to hide all the fun stuff. I'll try to remember to mute this clip of the video when I go to edit it. My blade. Well, it's cut through. Oh, about got it. Ha ha! God bless the Sawzall. All right, we're totally through on this side. So I got a little less room to work with here. I'm gonna try to whack this that way a little. May or may not work. The blade's probably gonna try to bind up more. I'll reposition and start over. All right, round 2. I got this to move that way just a little bit, just to get a little more gap there. Like I said, I'm not using this part. That's in perfect condition on my truck. All right, and just barely get a blade in there. So, plug your ears. Let's see. I wish I had a better way to brace this. I don't. It's working. Make sure I'm not going to saw through my casting up here. I'm not. Got nowhere to put my other hand to hold this thing still without chopping fingers off. Okay, not cutting anything I shouldn't yet. Most of the way through it. Sorry, I was about to vibrate a tool right off the edge of my table. We are almost through. I've had funner things to do in my life. I don't think that went through. I think it just popped out. Oh, come on. Yay! One blade's totally whacked, but it's out. Man, I can't help but think how much of a pain in the butt problem this would be if you were trying to service it on the truck. I gotta pop these off so I can get this arm out. This bolt here is in the way. Won't pull all the way out, so I'm gonna pop these off, bring you back. All right, well, got those little bolts off. Bent tabs are in the way now. Might be enough. There we go. And that's the end result. This would suck if you're trying to do this repair on a truck. Although that looked like complete chaos, there's no damage. I didn't even touch the casting anywhere, so. Now you can see all I got to fool with are these little short sections. I'm not fighting the whole entire pin all the way through both sides. So I've got this little section, which is maybe 1.25 inches. And I got that little section, which is less. So what I'm gonna do now is I'll just give this a few taps, set it on the floor and tap that a few times, see if it moves. I don't expect it to, so I'll probably just be back up here in a second. Just cut through that, collapse it, pop it out. All right, as expected, they did not move. So here I am. What I've done off camera, I forgot to hit the record button. I saw it through here, I saw it through here. Most of the way, I think all the way through, so I'm gonna get a pick and I'm just gonna tack down, you know, towards itself, see if I can get it to pop loose. Should come right out, but I don't know that. Oh. Sometimes you have to get bushings out on like car suspensions this way. Like cut the rubber out and whack these in. Another thing I forget to do all the time recording is I forget to turn my tunes off. Be jamming out to whatever music I happen to be in the mood for, and then I'll go do my editing and whoops. Either have to voice over it or delete the whole clip. Worst case scenario is you don't catch it and you upload it and then YouTube catches it, and that sucks. Wow, that thing is seized. No surprise there. That pin material really isn't that hard. Man, is it seized up in there. Man, I hope that casting don't break. Sure stinks working by yourself. I think it might be popped loose. All right, well, 2 seconds after I turned the camera off, it budged. So I got one free. Yay! Win for me. That pin looks like it's pressed in. It's got score marks on it. Excuse me. All right. Well, I'm going to do the exact same thing on this one. It's a little thicker. It's going to take a little more work, so I foresee no problem really. And I've got a hole drilled partially, just nearly half the thickness of this piece. So I'll just chopper there, and I got more material to whack on here. So I'll bring you back just to get it out, as long as I have no problems. All right, well, that's done. That didn't take long. Like I said, I already had half my thickness of metal knocked out. Now I need to give you guys a disclaimer, especially if you're working with the casting. If you use this method with the Sawzall, you need to go slow and check your work, because you do not want to cut through and saw into your casting. It's going to create basically a crack fracture point where it could split, your casting blow apart. It's not as critical on like a steel part, like a control arm, something like that, but you can easily re-weld one of those. But something like this, you go very, very slow, and the objective is to not totally cut through your piece. Usually if there's just a real thin layer of metal, you can tap and bang, get them to collapse. But you do not want to saw through and go cutting halfway through your casting. So if you just barely go through and you just touch the metal, it's no big deal. You can just file it down, just make sure that there's no, actual cut line, just kind of blend it. I don't think that's the case here. If you just touch your casting, like, it's not a big deal. Let me put my glasses on. This is a thicker one than that piece, so it may not want to collapse on itself as readily. It's moving. You see there, my gap is closed up. It means my pieces are coming together. I've hit my hand about 12 times. Got a no pain, no gain, right? Okay, she's moving. This one's a little bigger, so I'm going to put a little penetrating oiler on the outside to help it kind of loosen up. Now comes the part where I spray this in my face. So what I'm going to do is just tap that in, just move them around a little bit, get that wick down behind it, and they should fall right out. All right, see if we can get some vertical movement. Ha! Win for Team Me. And you. Alrighty then. You can see on the outside, I did not actually cut all the way through. Just got close enough that that's why it's still in one piece. But that went really well. Actually, there's no damage at all to the casting. Didn't break anything. I got a good clean hole. The only damage at all is where my blade, very end of my blade, just barely touched that piece. Didn't cut it or gouge it or anything, just shined it up a little. But, all right, this piece is ready to go to the blaster. One thing you can do to save yourself some trouble with sandblasting is knock loose any scale like we're doing in this picture and degrease your stuff real well. But sandblaster has a hard time beating up that heavy stuff. Well, as usual, thanks for watching. This is my grandson Leo. Hi. He's got a helicopter. Say see you next week.